My guest today is the photographer Alex Mustard, who specialises in underwater shots. His cooperation with the expert diver and writer Nick Hanna resulted in the book entitled The Art of Diving. Alex, welcome. There are some great shots in the book, but how much is luck and how much judgment?
With wildlife shots, it's not always the case that you can get the animals to behave in the way you want. When you spend a lot of time in the ocean, though, you get to predict behaviours, and you get used to knowing when and where you're going to get particular shots. I was able to plan a great deal, but often there's only a split second to capture the shot you have in mind. With the photographs of divers, it's different. You've got more control because the dive is a coordinated effort that's well planned. Even the smallest things are so hard to communicate underwater that absolutely everything has to be organised before.
And did you get any surprises doing the book?
One of the areas I've always thought we were going to struggle with was free diving. You know, going down to great depths without oxygen or equipment. I didn't really get free diving until I saw it for myself. But when you watch it in the ocean, when you're sitting there at 15 or so metres in very clear water and you see the divers come down those lines past you, disappearing into the blue, it's incredible. They disappear for several minutes while you watch, realising how much breathing you're doing until they come back up again on a single breath. I wanted to get across in the shots just how fragile the free divers looked, framed by the vastness of the ocean.
What are your favourite shots?
There's a whole genre of shots, the ones of divers having a good time underwater. For some unknown reason, the most sensible, important people, from nurses to managing directors, can't resist mucking about once they're underwater. I'd never really seen this in photos before, and it soon became a main theme of the book, to get across the playful, graceful and fun nature of being underwater. When someone sees a turtle while scuba diving, they do an impression of a turtle. The amount of times you end up bursting out laughing into your regulator, it happens every single dive.
Did you have any scary moments?
There's a golden rule underwater. You always need to know what's behind you. Some wildlife is potentially dangerous, but there are very few things in the ocean that are actively aggressive. We're not their natural prey. They'll be curious, but their first response is rarely to attack us. I think the secret is to respect the fact that we're intruders in their environment. If you go looking for trouble, I'm sure you can find it, with sharks or whatever, and some people do just that, maybe thinking they'll get good shots, but that's not the sort of underwater photography I want to get into.
What advice would you give to budding underwater photographers?
Underwater photography is becoming incredibly accessible. Most digital compact cameras are relatively cheap, and most can now be used with very good plastic housings. The most important thing is to choose your subject very carefully. Find something colourful that you can get close to, that's not going to swim away, and that's a medium size. If it's not too big or too small, you'll be more likely to get it in the shot. More professional shots require wide-angled lenses to get the best results, and you might want to consider using different colour filters. But with most of the compacts, you'll produce great quality snaps.
So, what's next for you, Alex?
Well, in July, I'm planning a trip to Sardinia. It's where some of the nicest diving in the Mediterranean is to be found, all clustered within easy reach of the airport at Olbia. There are a few wrecks, but that's not really the draw for me. It's more the underwater landscapes, like the soft corals and the fish life they support. And of course, the water's lovely and warm. Should get some shots.
Well, all the best for that, Alex, and thanks for joining me today.
Thank you.
Now play the recording again.